Hey, you've heard me say it before, introductions are light years better than referrals, but most advisors simply don't know how to get to that level, how to duplicate their best clients. First, you have to uncover and quantify them, and we're going to talk about how to do that right now.
This is The Rare Advisor, proud to be a part of the Advisor Advancement Network and home of a business model supercharged by recurring and repeatable events. Your host is Mike Walters, CEO of USA Financial. He is an investment advisor representative of and securities are offered through USA Financial Securities, member FINRA SIPC, a registered investment advisor.
Hey, welcome back to The Rare Advisor. I hope you've been enjoying this little mini series of the 5 advisor secrets that matter most for advisors right now. It really is taking into account all that we've been through during the pandemic, how we've suffered through lockdowns, how we've seen things loosen up, how now mask mandates may or may not be taking place in your area, all the things that are kind of creating a new set of moving variables. And we've been discussing, again, the 5 advisor secrets that matter most right now. So if this is the first video you're watching, I strongly encourage you, go back and check out the previous 4. I think you're going to find this to be a really useful collection, and it will get you to just a tremendous amount of data, tremendous amount of information in a very short period of time. So if you like this sort of thing, please subscribe, please give me a thumbs up, and please come back and visit us here at The Rare Advisor on a regular basis. So like right now, let's talk about introductions. I kind of bridge the gap a little bit in secret number 4, but let's zero in on introductions right now because they are light years better than referrals, but most advisors simply don't know how to duplicate their best clients through introductions. You know, we all probably came up through the ranks in this industry. We were taught by someone, somewhere, somehow, some old grizzled veteran who talked to us about how to get referrals. You know, and you got your hat in your hand and you're talking about how you get paid 2 ways and all this other hocus pocus that quite honestly makes everybody uncomfortable. There are ways to get introductions that are really done so as a favor and a benefit to your existing clientele. And it's really that significant of a difference. It makes all the difference, quite honestly. We teach it, we promote it, we coach and mentor, and we have tools to get you to that point. If that's something you want to learn about, reach out to us at USA Financial. We'll connect you with our business development team and with our advisor protocol team that have programs to coach and mentor and put legitimate tools in your hands that will take your practice to that level of getting introductions on a regular basis. You can do it individually. You can do it in group settings. There's lots of different variations that can be adapted once you understand how to truly make that happen. However, even before that, and even if you don't go down the introduction path, what you need to understand is what your total customer value is. And it's a numeric you need to apply to your customers because all customers should not be treated the same. The customer who is in the top 5%, top 10% of generating revenue and resources for your practice needs to be treated differently than someone who is in the bottom 10% of developing those resources and providing that revenue. It's just like any other business, right? Now, we want to take good care of people. We'll take good care of the whole gambit, but there are things that need to happen at the top level that are probably different than at the other levels beneath it, or you need some kind of a staging approach or process for that. Regardless of how you want to tackle it, you need to know what your total customer value is. I encourage you, calculate that continually on a 1-year, 3-year, and 5-year basis. This is especially important as you determine the value of commission and transactional revenue in your practice versus the value of recurring or asset under management level or revenue, I should say, in your practice. So I want to know what's the 1-year total customer value. When I get this done on my whole block, now I know what my average is. I know the average of my top 20%. I know my average overall, and so on and so forth. I can break it down a lot of different ways, but I can also know what is it per individual. And if I want to, I can even flag that in a database so people know what the total customer value is, or I can apply that to some kind of a ranking scale. If I don't want to get into the exact numbers being hanging in there, I can put them in the A group, the B group, and so on and so forth. 1 year, then calculate again over a 3-year period, then calculate again over a wider, a 5-year period, because again, it'll change based on the nature of your relationship. If you're more commission driven or transactionally driven, or if you're more recurring revenue driven, also it'll depend on the client. So, maybe you do a lot of assets under management, but you had a big life insurance sale or a big annuity sale that took place with a certain clientele. That's going to kind of alter what things look like, especially in a 1-year time frame. So I want to get my total customer value calculated out on all of my customers. Then to start bridging into what does it look like for introductions, then I want to get a total Maven value. A total Maven value. So we've got the total customer value. Now we have the total Maven value, TCV TMV. The total Maven value is the total customer value of that individual plus the total customer value of individuals that they have introduced me to. So if I have a really good customer who has not introduced me to any others, then their total customer value equals their total Maven value. They're one and the same number. But if I have another good customer who I have a total customer value on, but they've introduced me to 2 people in their family plus one of their neighbors who have all become clientele, now the total customer value of those 3 people gets added to the total customer value of this individual, and that is the total Maven value. And then let's say one of the people who they introduced me to, that person now introduced me to 2 others, so their total Maven value would be those 2 others plus themselves. Get it? Pretty simple once you understand. So I'm calculating out their value plus the value of people they've brought to me. That's the Maven value. The Mavens, they're hard to come across, but the Mavens in your business are unbelievably valuable to you. Most Mavens are consistent Mavens. These are the people who sing your praises without being asked. These are the people who probably understand what it is that makes you special, and they've figured out their own way of how to verbalize that. Now imagine if through an introduction process, we could teach all of your top customers what that Maven understands and how valuable it would be if we could show you a way to take your top customers and turn all or the majority of them into Mavens. What would that be worth to you? Probably be worth the next few years worth of revenue. Probably be worth a lot of growth. Think about what it would mean if 2, 3, 5, 8 new top-end clients joined your practice this year, this season, this quarter. Super valuable, right? So now that I've identified my best customers based on total customer value, and I've identified my best Mavens based on total Maven value, the next thing I want to look at is their demographics and their psychographics, especially probably of the Mavens. But I'd include top customers in that too. I want to look at their demographics and psychographics. So demographically, are they all from a certain region? Do they all live in a certain area? Did they all come from a similar occupation or background? Do they have similar political beliefs or spiritual beliefs, whatever the case might be? And then you get into, well, that's kind of spilled into demographics over to psychographics. Psychographics are more about how do they approach the world? What do they think about? Are they risk takers? Do they like outdoors? Do they like adventure? Do they have a common set of hobbies that they share? All of these things, I'm going to find out what is the common denominators in my customer values and my Maven values at the top echelon. What are those common denominators? Birds of a feather, right? Birds of a feather flock together. There's probably some commonality in there somewhere. And I want to figure out what that is so that now I can use that as an advantage, and I can use that as part of the process in duplicating these top people via introductions. Whether it's even me just being a good financial advisor who is having quality events, I know what appeals to them in the future. Or if I'm doing a client appreciation event, I know what's going to be important to them, what's going to bring them out to attend because I found out what their demographics and psychographics look like, and I realized where the common ground is. And that's the part I want to really leverage, because most likely you're going to find a large percentage of commonality between your top Mavens and your top customers. Zeroing in on that is way more profitable than zeroing in on the entire block, looking at the overall averages, or even worse yet, looking at the bottom half versus the top half. What you will probably find is the 80-20 rule already exists in your business. And oftentimes, it's not even an 80-20 rule. It's a 90-10 rule. or it's a 95-5 rule. The only way to turn that's called the Pareto principle, by the way, the 80-20 rule. The only way to turn that in your favor, meaning getting more than 20, is to understand what I just walked you through. Total customer value and total Maven value. And then concentrating on the upper echelons of who those people are so that I'm duplicating and getting introductions from the right people. And now instead of being a 90-10, I become an 80-20. Later on, I'm a 70-30. Then eventually I'm a 60-40. And before you know it, my practice is made up of exactly the people who I enjoy most, who I want to most help, who I am in best relation with, and therefore I can do my best work on their behalf. It's a pretty cool deal. Total customer value, total Maven value. Embrace that. That is number 5 of our 5 advisor secrets that matter most right now. I said it before, I'll say it once again. Go back and check out the previous 4. I think you'll enjoy it. Hey, give us a thumbs up. Please subscribe. Talk to you again soon. Thank you.
This information is for licensed financial professionals only and is not intended for use in soliciting sales from the public. The views expressed represent the opinions of the presenter or their featured guest, not necessarily those of USA Financial or its affiliated subsidiaries. Industry references are generic and not intended to represent actions or beliefs of any individual or entity. Content is only presented to illustrate general principles, beliefs, or ideas and should not be construed as legal or regulatory advice. Trademark and copyright protected. USA Financial and Affiliates.